in. Okay. In terms of the view, if you look at the top right-hand corner, you'll see speaker view and gallery view. If you click on speaker view, as with myself, I should now be quite large on your screen, or you should be able to see me and the presentation. If you click on gallery view, you will see other people in the session. Also, you'll notice, I think a few of you have found the chat box on the bottom. If you've got any questions, please use the chat box. Ask any questions you may have. Myself and my team will be writing them down, and then we'll transfer over to Greg to ask the questions at the end. If we have quite a lot of questions and we've run out of time, the session is up to an hour in length, probably around 45 minutes plus then question time. If we do run out of time, we'll collate all the questions and we will answer them and send them out to you within the week. So give it about a week after the presentation. In terms of seminar, the seminar, it's presented by Greg Whelan about the Pro Bario Bed. It's all about bariatrics and the heavier user. You will, after the seminar, within the hour, receive your certificate as well. And in terms of the presentation, again, within about a week's time, you'll get a copy of the presentation as well. If for some reason you haven't been emailed the certificate, or you've emailed me and my team and asked for a direct link, you may not get that email, so feel free just to send an email in. If you have any questions after the presentation, please just send me a quick email, stuart@promoting-independence.co.uk, with any questions you may have, and again I'll send them across to Greg. Okay, so I'd like to thank Greg for this is session number 2 of 3. We did have a really good session last week, and there's another session Tuesday of next week, which will be session 3 of 3. And thank you all for joining us, and I'll hand you over to Greg Whelan from Apex.
Thank you very much, Stuart, and welcome everyone. And firstly, thank you for taking the time to join us for this second session. And as Stuart's rightly said, we've got session 3 next week. My name is Greg Whelan, so I'm the UK Marketing and Product Manager for Apex Medical Limited, for those who may not have been here last week. Apex Medical, very briefly, are a manufacturer whose head office is in Taiwan, in Taipei, and have a global footprint and have distributors in over 60 countries of the world, with subsidiaries included in France, Germany, Spain, Thailand, India, California, etc. Excuse me. Apex have been in existence for over 30 years and specialise in manufacturing medical devices. And one of those we're going to talk about today is the ProCare Auto Bariatric. But first of all, we're going to talk about the Pro Bario Bed and the application of that bed for bariatric users. The bed came about from a company called Nexus DMS, who Apex Medical Limited purchased back in 2017, Apex being a manufacturer of the pressure area care product and Nexus being the manufacturer of the bed that goes underneath. So you can see why those synergies came together very nicely. As Stuart said, there'll be questions at the end, and there'll be some contact details for you, and you will be getting the presentation as well. So hopefully there'll be a lot of good information for you. So without further ado, we'll go through to the presentation and have a look at the slides. Okay, so we'll start off with the bed. And exactly what is this product? So the Pro Bario has been in existence for 10 to 15 years now. It's an incredibly robust, reassuringly robust German build quality product. Very, very reliable. We witness with people very, very long lifespans, which is why it's made it one of the sort of very popular go-to beds for various integrated community equipment stores, the likes of NRS and Millbrook. We have sold literally thousands of this product, and it is not an exaggeration, literally thousands, and those are throughout the UK. They're in the Middle East and in Europe. The bed comes with a 3-year warranty, and it's been aesthetically designed. So not only is it suitable for a care home environment and looks pleasing, but also if it is in the home environment, it's also a very attractive bed. Okay. So let's look at what the benefits are going to be of the products. And when I talk about the benefits of the products, I'm thinking about what the product does from an occupational therapist perspective, and the quality of the product, and also from the user. So firstly, very economical whole life cost. It's well priced and very robust, so it gives good long whole life costs. But very easy to store and to transport on its own transport bracket. That's a minor point, but actually when we talk to loan stores, it's a really, really important element for them. I will discuss some of the technical aspects of the bed more thoroughly, but it has a very, very low entry level from the ground to the mattress platform, and also very, very good upper height range as well. The mattress platform is 120 centimeters wide and 200 centimeters long. So when we look at the product and the benefits it then gives to the user, a lot of, not a lot, but some people with bariatric issues may also be suffering from anxiety and mental health issues. And we're going to look at a couple of things around that in a second. So we actually tag on this that there's some psychological benefits for the user when they get onto this bed because of the robust nature of it. There's a few key features that make it very robust, and as we go through the presentation, these will become more obvious. There are a number of adjustments that can be made to suit each user's physiology and their specific needs. So it's a case of being able to use the backrest and the knee break in a way that is suitable for each user. We also have a variety of mattress systems, whether that would be dynamic or static. And those, again, it depends on each individual's requirements, and that's care requirements as much as their own comfort. This is an end lift bed, which means our actuators, when we can see in this little diagram here we've got at the top, our actuators are sat in the foot end and at the head end over here. That allows us a nice clear area underneath the bed. So if we need to access the bed with hoists or anything like that, then we've got a nice clear area, we've got no frame in the way. There are a range of accessories available for the product. It does come complete with a lifting pole and grab handle, and battery backup is available. It doesn't come as standard, but it is there and it is available if people want it, amongst bumpers and of the like, and crash mats, etc. So there's a few of the benefits in terms of what the product is and how it can help in some of the ways with the user. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is why do we have this product? What is the reason for it existing? Well, clearly it's a bariatric bed, and that's what we've discussed, and it's for people who have the need that a normal bed or maybe a rise recliner, and we do come across a lot of people who haven't slept in bed for a long time. I discussed this actually last week on the previous webinar about the Rotor Pro product. That can happen equally where people are in a rise recliner because they can't get into bed or they haven't got a suitable bed for them. So that can be in the community or in the user's home environment. So as we go through the care path, I'm very aware of, and these are products that we don't personally make, that people will be using assistive aids. So they may be using some stand aids, for example, in that situation. When we look at the care path, and our care path is from what we witness and what we experience and what products we have that are available. So if someone has sufficient movement in their trunk and in their legs, although they may be bariatric, they may start off in the Rotor Pro Bario, and that's a bed that will take them back. And again, if anyone needs any information, Stuart can quite happily let you have that from last week. That will take you from a seated position back into a bed position. When we get to a point where someone's probably gone past that situation with their status, in their bariatric status, we then move on to the Pro Bario Bed. And this may be also with the introduction of hoists. Not always, for not all users, but we appreciate, as we said about the end lift scenario, that the Pro Bario Bed and hoists can end up being a tandem combination. For those people then with the Pro Bario Bed, if they then get to a point where their condition has worsened and their bariatric status has increased, and they may be going to class 3, we then may end up with special adaptations in the home. We may have those already, but we're more likely, if they get past certain weight limits, to see special adaptations. And then we start to look at special build bariatric beds. So the products that I'm demonstrating to you today through this presentation are the products here that I'm just identifying in the Pro Bario Bed range, although we do manufacture special build bariatrics, and those are one-off products. What we tend to find, and I personally have just last Friday went up to one of these, is special build bariatrics. Because of the user's condition generally, they may well be moving from, as you can see at the bottom here, the user's home environment. They may be heading with this change in their bariatric status into a care environment or a nursing home environment. So we see, for instance, the bed I went to last Friday, and I do go and do installations and go and look at these products. That was actually in a nursing home environment for the user. When we see this element of the product and here with the Pro Bario, we may find that people also in these conditions may have some mental health issues associated with their bariatric status. So we have very, very conscious that we've got product that will help them and could improve their position because they feel more stable and more comfortable. And that improvement in their mental health status is a very positive feeling for them, and that can help them then start improving their situation. So as much as this care path is going from here all the way up to nursing home, we're also keen, as per the client I saw on Friday, from being in this situation, to get them back down this care path, get back into a bariatric bed, maybe back into a Rhodes Pro. So this care path can go both ways, and that's what we should ideally be working towards. Okay. There's a short video here, and it just shows the bed. It's not brilliant quality, I must apologise, but it's just to give you an indication of what the bed looks like. As you can see, very low floor level bed, just rotates so you get an idea. It looks the same all the way around, and then we've got an auto profiling function, and you can see the bed lifting up to its maximum height. You can see there the beach finish to it on the side rails and on the head and foot boards, fully enclosed head and foot boards. We don't sell this bed with partial head and foot boards, they are always fully enclosed. Okay, so that gives you an indication of what the bed looks like. Right, so let's do a little walk around of what's behind the scenes, really, what's under the bonnet effectively. So we have a 4-part metal frame, mattress platform. This is in its standard form 200 centimeters by 120, and as you can see here, it is incredibly well built. You can see the mattress retainers here, and you'd also see the mattress platform in the mesh design. This allows a lot of breathability, and it allows a huge amount of support across the mattress. And you will see here the cross pieces, strengthening pieces that are put into this. This is a really, really well built product. You can also, you won't see very clearly here where the sacrum area sits. There's this the second part of the mattress platform, then we have knee and the leg. So that's the 4-part there. As we've discussed, the fully enclosed timber and head and foot boards. We also then have the user hand control, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail as we go through the presentation, with the hook on the back, so you can just hook that onto the side of the side rails. And the timber side rails are 11 centimeters deep and just about 1 inch thick. So very, very robust, very good quality. Interesting little point on these, when you see a lot of timber side rails and they run down the guide here, a lot of beds have plastic fingers that slot into the side here. The bariatric bed, they're all steel. So that makes them a lot stronger. And obviously for British standards, when we look at the pull test through here and sort of loads that these side rails can take, we also, apart from having very solid timber side rails, we also have to make sure that the fingers that run in these channels can also take that force that might be applied to them. So a little point that you won't necessarily see, but it's behind the scenes. We then have 4 twin-wheeled casters. As you can see, these are individually braked, and you can probably see there on the presentation, these are in galvanized steel, so these are not plastic. So these are very, very robust again. And as I've said, hidden behind here, the end lift bed actuators. So there's one actuator in that end and one actuator in that end. And those have got multiple functions, one for up and down, total height, and also for Trendelenburg, and we'll cover those in a moment. Okay, so let's have a look at the handset for you. So we've got the blue arrow, which is all the functions on the handset on the left are going up, green arrow, everything's going down, so it's straightforward. You can see the top button there is the backrest only, and that's identified where we've grayed out the backrest. Then we have the foul, the knee break, and the leg lift. Auto profiling, so if you want the backrest up and knee and leg, then we just use this one button here in the up position and to lower in the down position. The complete bed height is here, so we can go up and down, and we've then got Trendelenburg and reverse Trendelenburg functions on the lower button. There is a lockout capability on each individual one, as you can see, and a small key is supplied, so you can just lock out one of those functions if you don't want someone to mess about with the handset. Right. Okay. So now what we want to look at is the height function of the bed. So what we have in this, in terms of being a low entry product, low bed entry product, I should say, is a 22 centimetre distance from the floor to the top of the mattress platform when it's in its lowered state. As we move the bed to its maximum height, we move up to 62 centimetres. So we go from 22 centimetres at its lowest point, where it's just above the casters, and then we go up to 62 centimetres at full extension. That gives you a 40 centimetre move, plus whatever mattress depth you're using on top. Now, in terms of this product, we sell mattresses, and we supply a lot of mattresses, and to the loan stores we may actually just supply sometimes the bed on its own, because they may have a mattress library that they're going to use for the product already. And I said, as I was talking about NRS, for example, we know, for instance, they have quite a large number of mattresses that they might use, and they might need more beds. And for us to achieve this position on the handset, I've just identified, so you can see it very clearly here, the up and down movement. So in this point, we'd have pressed to go up, and we've got there, and to get back down to that 22 centimetres, we'd drop on this side here. So nice working heights. Obviously, from a bariatric perspective, we need lower levels. We've got to make sure we've got safe entry for the user, and that they can easily access the bed comfortably. In terms of the maximum height at 62, the nature of a bariatric patient means that we've got a good working height compared to someone who's in a non-bariatric status, because of the physiology of their body on the bed. Right, the backrest. So what I've done here, you can see the blue circle around the backrest function. So I've actually used auto profiling function on this, but I wanted to show you the two aspects on here. So as you can see, we've got the backrest. We can achieve 70 degrees on this. On the knee break, we can get up to about 48 degrees. This is working from the horizontal here, so we're just above, you can see the grey there, that's the top of the mattress platform. So we can achieve 70 degrees up, and we could have the knee break down on this if we want to. But I've shown you a couple of functions on this, so you can see sort of the positions that you can put a user or stroke patient in. One of the things that we've done with this bed is we've kept the head and the footboards, just as a minor point. Looking at this, you can see the dynamic mattress is on the bed here. Where the pump's concerned, we've kept a flat and level footboard, so when we place the pump over and the hooks from the pump, it's very easy for it to pop over, and it doesn't tend to slide around on the footboard. So it's just a minor point, but it does make it a bit more solid. Okay. Right, now from this bed's perspective, we have a knee break, and within the knee break we have the ability to do a leg lift, and that is off the same button. So it's on this button here. So we can achieve on there with the ratchet, we can get down to -26 degrees. And we have 7 different positions on this. So as you can see, -22, and as we go forward all the way up to -4. So that means that we're virtually taking it from a knee break position to a horizontal platform for the user. So there's lots of different measurements and adjustments on this, and there's the -4. This is illustrative only, so from my perspective, we're probably slightly higher on that -4. But you can see quite a lot of adjustment there, which gives us the flexibility for each user. Bariatric patients, lymphedema sufferers, for instance, and we get a lot of people that we talk to with lymphedema, they will be able to stand so much and may need their legs in a certain position. So that flexibility of those different angles really does help. Right, what I want to look at now is the Trendelenburg features. So as you can see, this is just working through. I've taken this red line, these hashed red lines here, and these aren't supposed to be at the edge of the beds. These are just working approximately, again with the image I've got here, towards the centre line of the caster for both of these approximately. And we've got the blue line, and you can see the arrow direction on this one. And we've got an arrow down direction on here. So to use the Trendelenburg and reverse Trendelenburg functions on this, we're down to the bottom control on the handset. Now, in terms of the outer length of the bed, so this is in its standard guise, 200 by 120. The outer length of this bed is 2,235, so 223.5 centimetres. This is a really important point to make. If the bed is extended by a further 20 centimetres, so that would go to 2,435. And what's really important about this is that we consider the spatial awareness of where we put in this product if we're going to use the Trendelenburg function. So in Trendelenburg, on this bed, we can achieve somewhere between the 12, give or take 12 to 13 degrees. I put 12 because I like to stay on the side of caution. It may go slightly past that. So on our Trendelenburg functions, we can achieve that. Now the bed will move in Trendelenburg is a really, really important point, which many of you, I'm sure, are more than aware of, and sometimes maybe forget even. We must make sure that when we're using the Trendelenburg function on these beds, that we lock the casters at one end of the bed. So number one, we need to make sure that we're clear of the wall spaces or any other objects that could be impacted upon by the fact that this product is going to move position. So on that 12 degrees, we will actually raise, in this case, with the blue arrows, we're going to raise the bed up, and that's going to hold down here, and we're going to see this section lift. So when you look down here on this affected little model, you can see the impact that you're going to have by putting this into in this case, into reverse Trendelenburg, because the head end is here. So you can see the fact that the headboard now is actually further out than it was. So that's where we're going to gain the extra distance. Then we've got the opposite function on this. And this is where we're going to raise now. If you can look for the Trendelenburg function, we're going to raise with the green arrow the foot section, which means that the head section is now going to come back and is in danger. If the wall was directly here, it's in danger hitting the wall. So we've got to be very cautious of that. Again, exactly the same measurement. And I've put at the bottom here is in its standard format, full Trendelenburg or reverse Trendelenburg, total length is 2,440 millimeters. So please make sure when you use this product that you've got sufficient space around you, and entry and exit from the side for the user. There was one point that I haven't made in terms of product about entry and exit. Within the accessories, we also have a grab handle that fits to the side of the bed. We call it an Easy X or an Easy X Max, and that can assist the user to exit the bed, and they can use that handle to pull on, and it would fit at midpoint here, and it can slide down. It swivels down so it stays out of the way, so you don't catch your leg or anything like that on it when you're using it. Okay. I'll just pop that there for anyone who's unsure what Trendelenburg is. Very useful for pelvic surgery as well, and for shock patients. Right. One of the USPs for this product, so one of the unique selling points, is the anti-tilt system. On the last pictures, on the bottom corner, we had a small image there in the Trendelenburg position. One of the things that makes this, I talked at the beginning about this being a very, very robust, very reliable German-made product. When we first designed it, we didn't have this anti-tilt system on it. And what we've found is with the use of that is people felt that the bed was distorting and felt uncomfortable with the way the bed was operating. So we thought, how can we make this better? And what can we do to make the bed more stable, make it more rigid? So within this frame, so the timber headboard and footboard slots over this, and you can see the frame here at the bottom. This is the actuator. Just here, you can see a steel rod, and likewise, you can see one here. So inside here, we've built an anti-tilt system, and that means it disperses the weight. So if the user was to access the bed from this side, not from here, from this side, obviously with the bed in a flat and level position, it disperses and removes some of the weight across to the other side of the bed. So it increases the stability. So instead, imagine if you were on a seesaw and you've got a pivot point. If you sit on this end of the seesaw, it goes like that. If you then had some way of applying some weight to the other side, it would stay more straight, more horizontal. So it works on a similar principle, but it's using these different systems inside the head and the footboard to transfer that weight across. So the benefits: disperses the weight from the edge of the bed, increases the stability of the product, reduces distortion in the frame, increases, as a result of that, the lifespan of the product. And that's really important when we're talking about this being in loan store environment, for instance, or in the retail environment when someone's spent their money on this. But it also, really, really importantly, improves the user support, the comfort, and of course their safety. And earlier we talked about the mental health conditions sometimes. This can actually help from an anxiety perspective. Someone feels secure in their bed and they haven't felt like that for a long time. That's a plus, that's a bonus towards their care package. Okay. So in terms of the timber side rails, I've just done a quick diagram here. I thought it might be the easier way of doing it. And this sort of sums up a little bit of about a few things that we've discussed as we've gone through. There are two timber side rails. Each one is 110 millimeters, so 11 centimeters deep, and they're 26 mil thick. So very robust and long lasting. The gap between, in the raised position, these are lift and lock with the metal fingers. The gap between these two is 85, and from the base of the mattress platform to the underside, we're looking at around 65 centimeters. So that gives you an indication of how these will operate. Okay, in terms of the Pro Bario, Pro Bario Plus and Pro Bario Max, that's a lot of Pro Barios. So our first Pro Bario bariatric bed has a safe working load of 260 kilograms. The maximum user weight for that is 220. And I must stress on this point that the maximum user weight is dependent upon what else is going on the bed other than the user. So whatever the mattress weight is, whatever the pillowcases are, whatever the sheets, anything else you put on that bed. So we allow 40 kg. If we lighten the mattress, that means our user weight will go up. So we can see these variants depending upon what you put on. So what we always recommend to all OTs out there is that you must make sure that you do your risk assessments in accordance with good practice and looking at that bed and the mattress that you're applying to it. The Pro Bario Plus, that's been designed as a wider and slightly longer bed, and that's to suit one of our dynamic mattresses specifically. So that's an Apex mattress that goes on that, a dynamic mattress. Still got the same safe working load and same user weight as well, so the 260, 220. The Pro Bario Max was the next step up, and this has got a safe working load at 325. So the Pro Bario Max has a safe user weight of 280 kilograms. After that, we move into the special builds. So there's a couple of things actually regarding the Pro Bario Max. It's only available in this instance as a 200 long 120 wide product, where the Pro Bario is 200 120, but you can have an extended version of the Pro Bario, and that will get you another 20 centimeters. But the Pro Bario Max doesn't do that. What we find, and the reason that we then move across from the Pro Bario Max into Pro Bario Special Build, is at 280 kg, and we're getting to that sort of figure of 50 stone that people talk about. If you put a 50 stone person on a mattress platform that's 120 wide, they're probably not going to be as comfortable as they need to be, which is why we then say, right, let's now look at the individual's needs in that situation and what they require. So for instance, the one that I spoke about earlier that I went to last Friday, that's got a 150 millimeter wide mattress platform by a 200 centimeter, but has a safe, has got a user weight maximum of 450 kg. So I can quite honestly tell you, I'm about 101 kg, so 4 of me on that bed, and that's been designed for that. So we can make beds that are for the much heavier user, and in that situation, for instance, I discussed earlier, that one's actually in a nursing home for the user. So there we go in terms of the Pro Bario Bed product. I've also given you for your information, and Stuart will be sending these slides out to you, so don't bother trying to write anything down or worry if I'm going through some of these things too quickly. This is a table, and it's a quick go-to table as far as I'm concerned. It tells you the products down here on the left, Pro Bario, the Long, the Plus, the Max, etc. It gives you our codes, and I thought that's sometimes helpful if you guys ever need to give us a call and ask about it. But you can see the various information you might need about the safe working loads, the maximum user weights, even the platform heights, etc. So please don't worry about trying to write it down. It will be sent through for you. Okay. Right, what I'd like to do now is just talk to you about one of our mattress systems. So Apex, as I said, as a global entity, design, test and manufacture all of their own mattresses, as well as CPAP devices and other devices, of course. So we have our ProCare Auto Bariatric, which is a really great piece of kit. As you can see, suitable for patients in high to very high risk of pressure injury, so dynamic, all of our own kits. Automatic, the reason it's called ProCare Auto is it automatically provides optimal pressure based on the patient's weight, so it's automatically assessing the patient. We have alternating low pressure modes in there, as well as various other modes, and we've got dual compressor system inside the pump. Again, we'll talk a little bit further about that as we go through. This is a very accessible product, and the way we've designed it and looked at the various elements of it is we've tried to make it easy to use, easy to clean. So the pump, for instance, has got no knobs in there. It is a white clean surface over the top, and we've got special design details in the mattress and the tubing, etc., to prevent cross infection. So these are they seem minor points, but when they're actually in a care environment, they're really crucial, especially when we start thinking about the situation we're facing at the moment with Corona and COVID. So the alternating low pressure, the pump quietness, and even the materials that we've used come together to make this a really great package in terms of quality product and ease on user. So the pump is less than 20 decibels, so super quiet pump on this. The covers on this are detachable, so from a decom perspective, you can remove the air cells very quickly from the base and ease the cleaning process. As you can see here, we've also designed a little gadget that will pop in when you're taking this out to stop any water ingress. Minor point, but again, something we have to think about. And as I said, we've got the dual compressors in there for number one, quietness, but because we've got two compressors in there, instead of having one compressor that's working very hard and doing effectively that and pumping the air, you've got two. So they're not having to work as hard for each other, and it gives a much greater and much improved service life. And for the user, and this is really important because you do hear people complain about the noise of the pumps on these beds at times, is it's very quiet. So it gives them a good night's sleep. And again, sleep, as we know, is an important part of your health regimes. So it's called an auto because it's automatically adjusts, as I've already described earlier. So that makes it very cost effective. So the mattress is actually doing some of the work for the carer. It does have CPR function on there, and it will deflate with a CPR knob. So it's a very, very robust product, and it's favoured by most people that we talk to. This has got a deflation time of less than 15 seconds, so very quick. And as we've said, there's the multiple modes and cycle times as well. So we can set, as a carer, we can set different things now on this pump, different cycle times and different modes as well. So we've got the CLP-LP modes and the various time settings. And again, I'm going to show you as we go through the presentation the top of the pump, and I'll explain each one of those processes as we go through. Important points, I suppose, headline figure. This mattress will go up to 450 kg patient weight. Now, as a manufacturer, Apex, although we manufacture our beds as well, we also appreciate that we sell into care homes, nursing homes, loan stores, and they have other beds as well in stock. So this bed is designed up to 450 kg, so it will fit a range of different products. One of the it's trademarked is the Cubicell technology. So in the sacrum area, you can see these what we call Cubicells, and they're sort of rectangular. So when we're in a seated position, these offer a lot more support on the sacrum in the cell and cell structure that they give. So much more support, much more stable situation. And as you'd expect, as we look through, we've got a 4-way stretch cover, low friction, highly vapor permeable, and of course, as you'd expect, crib 5, crib 7 on the flame retardancy. The connector to the pump is an L-shaped connector. So very quick, very simple, very easy, and we've even built in a buckle strap, so if you need to transport and roll the mattress up, there's a strap there for it. And you'll see here there's no knobs or any protrusions around this pump, so it's designed with a smooth surface to prevent any fluid ingress, from a decontamination perspective, to make it very, very simple, very easy to use in any healthcare setting. Right, some specifications about the pump. The max firm mode, we've got a 20-minute timeout on there. And the max firm mode we'd use, obviously, when we're doing any patient handling. We might be going through some cleaning regimes, and we might use that then if we're entering and exiting the bed. So there are a few different elements in this pump that we can, again, I'm not going to go through every single item on here, but we can, these will come through to you with the presentation so you can look at it. You can see the cycle times of 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes here. Okay, so the Cubicell that we talked about, so just talking when we look at the mattress platform, the Cubicell is between 9 and 12 on the mattress platform. We've got heel relief on this mattress, and we've also got head pillow function. So heel relief is in the last 5 cells, and the head function is in the first 1, 2, and 3. Inflation time for this bed about 20 minutes, and again, as we discussed, it's got 450 kg max weight. Again, something for you to look at and spend a bit more time going through from the slides. Weight of the fabric, for those who love a little bit of tech, is 205 grams per metre squared. In terms of wash, because I think these are important things that OTs like to understand, it's 95 degrees, and it is with welded seams and a full 2-way zipper on this. We have the 7-cell design, so we have total dynamic pressure change, which means when the mattress is in use, there is always air in the bottom of the lower cell. So you've got 2 cells operating, but there's always air, so it prevents the user or the patient from bottoming out. And then when we look at the alternating low pressure, the air cells on the mattress slowly inflate and deflate under the patient, as it says, at predetermined or adjustable cycle times. That means we're not giving the same level of pressure. For some people, they don't like the feeling that the mattress is doing this. They prefer it to be less. Feel like that's, I think people sometimes feel about feeling a little bit seasick. So we've got something built in that can help and assist that person, gives them a better night's sleep, more comfort, makes them less agitated and more easy to manage. Okay, so as I said, we'll just talk a little bit about these. So as you can see here now, across the top of the very clean, very clear control panel, we've got these three settings. So we've got our alternating setting, that's standard, that's every other cell. So one cell's up, one cell's down, the other cell's up, the one cell's down. Then we've got, and those are sequentially, so those are set in the timing cycles. We've then got alternating low pressure, so you can see there's a reduction in the amount of pressure that's being done, and that's making it a much smoother transition. And we've also got continuous low pressure, and that allows more immersion into the mattress and a better redistribution of the body mass over a greater surface area. So some people might not get on well with alternating and might prefer to be in a continuous low pressure scenario. And we've already talked about how we'd use max firm. So that is how the mattress will be inflated initially. It has a 20-minute timeout safety feature to it as well. And it's there for sit to stand situation, or if any patient care is going to take place, any cleaning, etc. Okay, so look at the next slide now. This is, as we've said, is auto adjustment. That means that from the user's perspective, the patient, if you like, it's analysing their weight and any changes, and it's automatically adjusting the amount of pressure that is being applied to the weight that's been bared down against it. We've got 10, 15, 20, 25 minute cycle times, as you can see here, which we can change by the press of a button, and the light will move along to which you want. That will be down to the care package that you've put together and where that patient feels comfortable. And although it's an auto adjustment, we've actually built in also some fine tuning. So we can go up or down, so minus, 0 or plus, a level above or below where the automatic system operates. And we have to make sure by putting our hand underneath the buttock of the patient to make sure that we've got sufficient clearance there, but still sufficient support. And as you can see, fairly obviously here, we've got the panel lock on the top here, and that will automatically go back into lock if it's not been touched for 5 minutes, as it describes. In terms of alarms, what you would hope for and expect is, yes, we've got multiple alarms. So we've got an alarm, for instance, if there's a PFA alarm, which is power failure. We've got a tech support alarm. If there's low pressure in the mattress, this alarm will go off here and it will be highlighted. You can see probably just about, there's a little arrow here saying low. And then high pressure, for instance, if there's a kinked pipe, the high pressure alarm will go off. And you can mute these alarms as well. Okay, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for listening. That's the end of the 2 presentations, so 2 for the price of 1 today. I hope they've been informative. Please, if you have questions, which I know I'm going to probably take from Stuart in a moment, if you have any questions and you need to talk to us, the contact details are on the screen. We're going to leave those up as we go through the questions now. Please feel free to look at the website. My work email is there as well, and our phone number. I'd like to say thank you firstly to Stuart and to Jason and the tech team for putting together the presentation and kindly inviting us. It's been very enjoyable, as usual. I look forward to any questions that you guys may have, and for those that are going to be around next week, seeing you next week as well. Thank you very much for your time, everybody.
Thank you very much, Greg. That was great. We've got several questions.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a few. Cost. Did you mention cost in general for the beds? Is there a different cost structure?
Okay. Yes, so we do. The costs start, if we take it from a retail perspective, we're looking for a Pro Bario, which is what is the main seller for us, talking about £1,995. So that's for an end user that's purchasing it. Obviously, there are structures in place for nursing homes and loan stores as well. So those will vary.
Thank you very much. The weight capacity if leaning on the side rails. I hope that makes sense to you. So if you're leaning and putting all your weight on the side rails, what is the weight capacity of them?
Number one, from a risk assessment and from our perspective, we don't recommend that anybody does that. That would be potentially catastrophic because I don't know who's going to put their weight on it and what level. So our basis on that is that we shouldn't do that. The side rails are there to help prevention of someone from falling out of the bed. They shouldn't be used as a method for leaning on. That's when the Easy X for exiting from the bed has been designed so that people can use that to get in and out and use that aid instead.
Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying that. Makes perfect sense.
It is, by the way, as just on that point, they are incredibly robust, and we've got those steel fingers in there to give more rigidity. But we are working on the fact that they're designed to keep people inside the bed, not to use them to push up and down on.
I think across the industry, that is the norm, isn't it? To not rely on them. They're there just to keep you in the bed and to keep you from rolling out.
If people were to ever recommend that, then you are at risk. I would never recommend someone doing it because you are at risk of something breaking potentially, and that could cause injury to that patient or to a carer. So we have to think about both parties or a visitor. So it's not a thing that we would recommend to be done.
Great. Can you remove the side rails and add something that a joint equipment stores would have onto the bed instead?
The side rails can, if it's a request, when the bed's put together, the side rails literally slide on, so you've got the fingers either side. So when we put that bed together, we can leave the side rails off if that was a request, because an alternative is being used. Any alternatives that are put on the bed obviously are under, again, from an OT perspective, would be under risk assessment. So they'd have to make sure that they conform to the standards 60601-2-52, etc. But they could be taken off, but it would require the bed to be opened up to do that.
Okay, we've got quite a few people from Republic of Ireland on. Do you have a supplier in Republic of Ireland for the bed?
We do, yes. We have a couple of people in Ireland and Northern Ireland as well. So we'd be very happy if anyone's got any particular interest in that to be able to talk to them and talk about the distributor we've got over there. So,
Fab. So when we send that question out, or the answer to that question, Greg, we'll just suggest that they drop you a quick email, and then obviously
absolutely, and we can then make the distributor over there aware of it as well. So we've got one in Southern Ireland, and we've got a distributor in Northern Ireland as well.
And just one last question. We do have several, but again, I know people are short of time because they'll be doing this in their workplace. Have you got a rough tallest person and a rough shortest person measurement for the bed?
That's a very good question. In terms of the tallest person, we can cater with whoever's the tallest. That would move into a special build. In terms of the shortest, we don't specify a shortest, but I suggest we'd be talking someone in the 5 foot 5'2". Entry into the bed's easy. It's then about how comfortable the mattress platform is for that person. It's not a bed that's designed for children, so we're not in the 4'11" category. So anything over that, it is an adult bed. We would take each case. The problem we face with a lot of beds, and it's almost an assessment on each individual user, and we talk to the OTs in particular about this and look at each of these cases, is a 6 foot person can be 6 foot, but they can have a very short body and long legs, or they can have very short legs and a long body. So we try to get an idea about the proportions and the condition around there when we talk to them about the product. To want to make sure it works. So the longer one, for instance, the Pro Bario long, we can take that to 220. So we're going to get someone in there, probably 6'3", 6'4", but it would depend on their bodily proportions as well as to how comfortable they'd be. So we'd need to look at that. If someone's very unusual body proportions, we'd move on to the special build for them. So I suppose from our perspective, the fortunate thing is because we've got that capacity to do special builds, that no one's ever excluded from us. We don't just say, well, we've got these 3 beds. If you don't fit, sorry, that's not us. We can actually do something for you, and we're very happy to do that.
Superb. Thank you very much, Greg. So I just want to say thank you very much to Greg and the team at Apex. And thank you to everybody else who's come into this session and listened today and sent lots of questions across. As I said, we have several. I think we've got just over 20 questions in front of me. So we obviously can't answer them all here and now. But I just want to say thank you again to everybody. I will see you again for the third and final Apex session next week. So if you haven't got the link or you need a link, please drop me a quick email or drop Greg an email because you've now got his email address. If you have any questions or anything pop in your head, please jot it down and again, send it over to Greg or myself. And I'll see you at the next webinar. So bye for now. Bye all.
Bye guys. Thank you ever so much.
Good afternoon. Bye.
Bye.